times of need, helped me up when I was weak, showed me that it's okay to.
One particular gentleman from the beautiful Tar Heel state of North Carolina is taking music more to a passion up to an exceptional level that he's ever done. A lot of following on his social media from TikTok to Instagram and to Spotify. Joining me here now is one and only Caleb Hearn. Caleb, pleasure to meet you. And like we was talking before, you've got a good stance on what you're following on social media.
Hey man, nice to meet you. I'm glad to be on here. Thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So I am in college. I'm 20 years old. I'm actually at Liberty University online. So I'm actually studying business and doing that. But, you know, I'm actually pursuing music full time. I wouldn't say college is backup, but it's basically, you know, do college when I can, obviously. And I am pursuing music full time at this point. Doing everything from home. I love hanging out with friends, love hanging out with family. I'm a pretty simple guy, but music's my passion, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, sounds good. So let's get talking about how you got it started in the music industry. I know from reading an article not long ago, I believe it was 12 years old, you've been doing that, and now here you are. Let's kind of give us the ball rolling from there.
Yeah, I did start making music at a really early age. It was like 12 years old or so that I really started like writing music, playing guitar, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I remember being around, I think 16 or 17 years old. I actually got like my first computer and my first microphone. That's when I started like recording stuff. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. But it's kind of what got the ball rolling for me and what really made me not interested in just the music, but even like the audio engineering side and all these like technical things that I really got interested in as well. And then I kind of put it down. Unfortunately, I put it down during high school for the most part. I was busy with sports, friends, everything. And then I met this guy that went to my high school who actually brought it back out of me pretty much. And I was kind of surprised, and we started working together. And we still work together to this day. So I might even see him today. But yeah, we're working together still. He's actually in school for audio engineering. So we both have this passion for music, and you know, along the way, I've met so many other people that have sparked this passion and kind of channeled it into the direction I'm going now. So yeah, a lot of background. I tend to let a lot of family situations and just real life things influence my music and stuff.
That's a pretty cool story to hear that. I know a lot of people, every musician has their own unique way of doing things. And of course, from what I've been seeing, looking at you, like I said, one of your songs, you talked about your best friend. We'll get to that here in just a few minutes. That kind of example what you've been going in there as well. So you talked about that. Let's go inside. What is it like making the music process? How do you kind of get your starting with that?
Yeah. So normally what I try to do is if I'm, you know, wanting to write a song, a lot of times it just kind of comes. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to sit down and write a song right now. But, you know, when I do try to do that, I think it's basically now just, obviously there's something on my mind that kind of sparks that. Like, okay, you know, there's something on my mind that I've been wanting to write about. And then what I'll try to do is I'll come up with this general concept of what my message is. Cause I feel like the message is the most important thing. And I try to like come up with this one line, this one like phrase that sums up the entire song that I'm going to write about. And once I come up with those two things, then I can just like write around that. So it's kind of like I come up with this like punchline almost like when you're writing an article or something. I'll come up with that, and then I'll start building around that and making this song. And then by the end, you know, you have this full piece that all makes sense and runs together and displays the message from the beginning that you wanted to kind of explain. So yeah, that's kind of the process. And then it's obviously the whole recording. You know, that's the, you know, extra stuff, I guess, that makes the project a record instead of just a, you know, a blank.
Is there a particular influencer or person that kind of you look up to, or is this kind of something you just, like you said, you've been doing this for some time now? So
yeah, I actually have so many influences. I wouldn't even begin to name all of them, but one artist that kind of sticks out to me, that's been kind of, you know, impacted me lyrically, just everything that he's had like a, you know, his name is NF. He's a singer, rapper, both kind of slash type thing. But he really speaks on family issues, like things that happen in the home, things that, you know, kids and people my age or younger deal with daily. And I feel like there's a huge, it's kind of like, Eminem touched on it early in his career, obviously in a much darker way, but this guy just seems to bring light to that subject and positivity. And I felt like, listening to his music growing up, I was like, I want to do that too. I feel like I have the gift of words to bring light on that. And I've actually went through some things that are similar. So I feel like he's been a really big inspiration to me in my music for sure. Yeah.
Especially, does that have any impact on you when you just go back and if you listen to something, you're like, did that really have a meaning to me?
Yeah. A lot of times when I'm hearing a song for the first time, I'll listen to it 3 or 4 times just to get that. Because a lot of times you miss it. It's kind of like a movie. You watch it again, you miss like you realize you've missed multiple things within the movie or the song or whatever that just didn't hit you the first time, or hit you in a different way because of your ears and how you were listening to it that way.
Absolutely. Good way to sum that up too. So now moving on now to support. Of course, you've been doing this, like you said, for a few years now, and even your young age. How has family and friends been involved with it? How have you been just overwhelmed with all the support that you've been receiving?
Yeah, super supportive, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty nervous, especially jumping out and doing this, just because it's not the typical thing that you see from someone in my hometown and stuff. It's normally go to college, get a job, like that's the stigma and kind of what everyone expects, I guess. And for what I'm doing is very interesting, but I'm actually very overwhelmed with the support from people in my hometown, family, of course, friends, my girlfriend, just everybody, just kind of congratulating me, taking it step by step, obviously, wanting what's best for me, and just kind of looking out for me, especially as the music industry is a pretty tough world. It can be. So, yeah, definitely. The support's been amazing.
And of course, especially during a pandemic, I know it is really hard because you can't see every single individual you work with. So, like I see there in studio, you just got to take it upon yourselves and do what you got to do. So it's the only way to
Yeah, for
break through.
sure.
So, and now let's get right into social media here. Of course, TikTok. My goodness, you've got I don't know how you're getting right up there near close to a million, if not near getting close to it. What has it been like seeing all those followers go to your videos, and what goes to your mind when you get X amount of views on some of them?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because TikTok's becoming almost like a family. I'm starting to see the same amount of people, or the same people coming back listening. And because I think it was before, like, it was 200,000, 300,000, like that's great. But I think it was because of each video hitting a whole new crowd. And that's all. As cool as that is, I wanted to figure out a way to connect with the people and keep them there, because I felt like that's the true connection. And it's now that I'm seeing the same people that were from 200,000 followers ago still with me now. And I think that's really cool because you're building that like family, that connection with them, that I try to reply to as many people as I can because I want that to be a personal thing. Because the music, I mean, obviously I'm writing for therapy for me, but also I'm writing for them. It's kind of the impact that I'm wanting to make on them. So for them to be supportive and it become kind of like a family type thing, it's super cool to see that.
And I know, especially when you see all these people that are like verified, and I don't know whether or not the comments have probably said, let's get this guy verified, right? Of course, I'm on board with that TikTok. Listen out there, get him verified, right? But
Yeah.
when you see it, it's like, oh, okay, I hit a song and you go over, and of course, the next morning you wake up. I think even one of your videos, you were like, you had released a song, which I guess we'll go and get to it now recently. It was called Always Be, which was released not long ago. And looking at this during this recording, the Spotify had it over nearly 2.5 million listeners and following and everything. That is first of all, a crazy number. So let's kind of get into the logistics of what made you want to write the song. I know it's a bit of an emotional ride at some point. Let's kind of talk about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually I had finished up my album for 2020. I dropped probably 16 to 17 songs in 2020. So it was a very busy year, and it was, winding down, and I was like, I probably just ride out the rest of this year, start back fresh in January, spend some time with family. Cause not gonna lie, I mean, I was still on the edge of, do I pursue this thing full time? Because at that point I had maybe 300,000 followers on TikTok. Things were looking up, but financially support, it just wasn't quite there and where I needed it to be going forward, unfortunately. But come to early December, I'm a Christian, so I actually prayed right before December hit, just like, God, I'm confused. show me what direction you want to put me in, whatever it is. And it wasn't a day, maybe a day later, it's like November 26th, when I was in the basement writing, and I come up with Always Be. And it was actually so weird because it was about my friend, but I didn't even know it was until after I wrote it. It was almost like it was just, it was weird. I was just writing and it just happened. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never been able to write that down on paper before, ever. Like I've tried over and over, and now it just came out. And I was like, let me just record it. And I recorded it and posted just a snippet on TikTok. And I was like, this is not going to be something I drop. It's for me, and TikTok blew it up. Like, we need part 2. We need the full version, post it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. So I was like, okay, as quickly as I can, I called my manager. I called the person who does my artwork sometimes. I was like, hey, how quickly can you get me a simple artwork? How quickly can you like get this up to Spotify? I pretty much just threw it in the system, posted it like within a week, and was like, because I wanted to do it as quick as possible. I threw it in there and then made another video saying like, hey, this is my song Always Be. I showed you guys a few days ago. Hope you like it. And that's all pretty much it was. Just told my story, and it blew up. Song was absolutely taken off, and it just wasn't my plan. I thought that was so cool because it just wasn't like, I feel like some of the best things happen unplanned. So for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. How do you wake up and process it every morning? How are you still processing all of this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I've talked to the cool thing is surrounding yourself with people who remind you of who you are is so important, because I feel like a lot of times it's unfortunate, but you see, your Justin Biebers of the world and stuff, and I'm not ever comparing myself to that. He blew up insanely more than that. But I'm just saying, seeing success, and then, overnight, and then flying out to another place, never seeing your hometown again, and you're a new person. It's like, oh, I'm not the old person anymore. And I think for me, it's been making sure to surround myself with my family, my friends who have been there through all this, and learning, like, it's just a constant reminder, like, yeah, this is all happening for you, but you're still the same person, and you're still, there's nothing special about you. It's just God's using you for something. And I think that's been huge for me to see. Obviously it's cool. Obviously, it's a cool feeling to see all that, like, oh my gosh, it's insane. But at the same time, just reminding yourself of who you are at the core is huge, not to get ahead of yourself and that kind of thing. But processing is crazy. It's been crazy.
I'd imagine it would be. And of course, always having that mindset, you just don't know, which is amazing to see you. And of course, some other people I've ran across. So they're like, oh, this is normal. I'm like, excuse me, normal? What is, you got to like, wait a minute here.
Yeah, what's normal, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what is normal? I know right now, right? Especially. So anyway, of course, congratulations on being featured on the Rolling Stones magazine. That was a pretty accomplishment. How do you get to manage with that happening to you?
Yeah, well, it goes along with the whole story, because not everything was just sunshine and daisies, whatever it was. There were some hiccups through everything. So obviously, I dropped the song December 4th, and then a couple weeks later, I learned that I didn't have the exclusive rights that I needed to make any type of deal. And so basically, I was kind of in a situation where I had to make a decision. It was basically, hey, here's my song that has 1 million streams already. It's doing great. I've told my story already. Some person owns, 50% of the song pretty much. What do I do? Do I try to make a deal with this person who's not really giving me anything that's fair? Or do I just take the song down and hope, I make something better eventually? So I talked to people, got opinions, and they were like, hey, you own the composition of the song. The composition is yours. Remake it with your lyrics, but get a new producer on it. Completely change the song. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible idea. Like, it's not going to work. So I took the song down. The song had 1 million streams. I remember this, that 1 million streams had just hit it. Song came down, or excuse me, I posted the new version of the song. And then I took the old one down. So now I started fresh. It's like it never happened. Because the 1 million streams were gone, and people, some people were like, where'd the song go? Whatever. And then I make this video explaining what happened. Like, hey, I didn't have the full rights. This happened. Here's the new version of the song. It's called Always Be 2.0. And when I tell you, it blew up more than the first one. It was insane. I mean, it was like, it was like I think the first song had like 100,000 on Spotify on the first day. This one had like 250,000 on the first day. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going mega viral, like insane. Like 20 million on TikTok. It was crazy. So I was like, okay, well, obviously, like God works in some weird, mysterious way, but I mean, it was crazy. Like and honestly, somebody pointed out the other day, like, how did you keep your composure through all this? And I was like, dude, honestly, it's like a blur to me. I don't even really remember any of it. Days just were going by so fast, and I really think that God was just completely in control. It was just like I didn't really have a say so. It was just like I was going through the motions, but it worked out so well. I was kind of numb to everything. I didn't, he kept. I feel like God sometimes makes you emotionless to get you through a tough spot, and then puts you, right back where you need to be. I think so. For me, it was a very weird situation, but it worked out for the better. And that's how Rolling Stone came up, I think. So Rolling Stone was like, wow, what a story for the music industry. This kid who's a nobody drops a song, it kind of gets taken away from him in a sense, and then he redoes it, and it does even better than the original. Just kind of, So it was crazy, but I was, yeah,
It's mind blowing.
insane.
You say
Yeah,
something,
yeah, for
every
real.
little thing like that. Well, we're going to begin wrapping things up here. You've got a very powerful story and a very interesting perspective of looking into the music business, it seems to be. So let's talk about the future. Are you working on any current songs right now, or are you still trying to dabble some things out? And if so, when people can start listening to those?
Yeah, so I actually have a song coming out this Friday. It's called Under the Weather, and it's actually a collaboration with someone. Um, it's kind of just explaining, kind of how I was feeling throughout this whole process, um, and how, getting out on the other side or whatever. But it's a collaboration with a girl named Jillian Ross. It's called Under the Weather. It comes out this Friday, so that will be something that I hope everybody goes and listens to. And then I would like to say, that's a collaboration project, but I would like to say my follow-up to Always Be, like my next single, that's me, and just me kind of, is going to be into February. So it's not long. I have a lot of songs in the works, but I'm hoping to nail down my next single into February. And I love it already. So I'm glad. I'm really happy and excited to share that with you guys, because I think you're going to love it.
Hey, I appreciate that and passing it along to us. And our listeners I'll send them this link and say, hey, listen, this guy has got some truthfulness in his songs. A lot of people, like we've talked about that already, misinterpret things of that nature. Caleb, I really appreciate your time with me today. And best to you, my friend. We'll be sure to keep following up with you with some more latest hits as you're doing so right now. Best to you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Thank you. And